Disclaimer: do not send any type of harassment or negativity towards the creators that I review. This includes hateful comments, mass paying the creators, dislike spamming, and toxic videos about them. This video is for entertainment purposes, and even then, what I say could be wrong, so please take my videos with a grain of salt. Enjoy! So, there's this channel called HarrisTsangYT, who made another one of those paleontology videos, the only dinosaurs that could really kill a T-Rex. We're going to be linking the video down in the description. You can click on it, and then have a review for yourself. Have a watch for yourself before watching this review of mine. Anyways, enjoy. By the way, we're going to be as fair as we can.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about the real-life battles that would be fought by my personal favorite dinosaur. You already know, it's the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So look, over the last few years, there has been a lot of nerfing to the king of the dinosaurs, and what I can only assume to be a cheap way to generate interest in people seeing new types of carnivores. A lot of people believe this started all the way back in 2001 with Jurassic Park 3 and the Spinosaurus, but a year earlier, Dino Crisis 2 made the Rex lose to a Giga. So this has actually...
It's because the Giga over here is incredibly oversized, and the Spino in Jurassic Park 3 is just instinctively hardwired to kill a Rex. Anyways...
with Jurassic Park 3 and the Spinosaurus, but a year earlier, Dino Crisis 2 made the Rex lose to a Giga. So this has actually been a cliche for even longer than what's in the Jurassic World series. Now, while a lot of people like to write T-Rex into a corner today and make it a pushover, make no mistake, in the real world, this thing was an absolute unit. And this is well documented to be one of the most overpowered dinosaurs of all time. It's the Superman of the Cretaceous, and it would annihilate most things that came into contact with it.
I mean, the T-Rex is literally the Superman of the dinosaurs, because the T-Rex is literally being measured as a unit in comparisons.
But with that being said, there is still some competition. These are the real animals that would have actually stood a chance at killing it.
I expect it to be herbivores. T-Rex Alamosaurus. So
nobody that can take it comes. Oh my goodness.
Man, I'm just happy to do this video right now. I've wanted to talk about stuff like this for a while. So for starters, we need to take a look at the Tyrannosaurus Rex's environment. The animals in this video are creatures that would have legitimately lived alongside T-Rex back in the Cretaceous period.
Ooh, I kind of like this idea. Well, not Spinosaurus over here shown, but
So there's not going to be a Giganotosaurus or a Spino on the list.
Okay. Showing Spinosaurus, but talking about Giga, but whatever.
Nothing like that. This is going to be grounded in real world. Speaking of which, starting off with what I think is a really interesting enemy, we've got to talk about the Ankylosaurus, a heavily armored herbivore with an impressive club at the end of its tail that could be used to deal a terrible blow to anything that wanted to kill it. Now, interestingly, we have some information that would suggest that the Ankylosaurus club was actually being used against other members of its own species.
Well, and also to defend themselves against Rexes.
With a particular individual even being damaged by what paleontologists assume to be a bout of social dominance. But
these, okay, the 2003 Ankylosaurus is plausible. 2004's body is a bit weird. This paper, though, the present one, this is definitely fine.
Being damaged by what paleontologists assume to be a bout of social dominance. But the club tail would most certainly come in handy if it would ever strike at the legs of a Tyrannosaur in defense.
Yes. The Ankylosaurus, the T-Rex could try and, whatchamacallit, flip the Ankylosaurus over, but the Ankylosaurus is in its defensive stance when it comes across a predator like a T-Rex. We're off to a good start, though. The Ankylosaurus can definitely kill a Rex, an adult one.
The funny thing is, we still don't have any evidence that the clubtail ever factually hit a Tyrannosaurus, like, at all. No bones of the...
But then again,
carnivores that have been damaged were ever directly found to be from an Anky attack. Meanwhile, T-Rex was seriously no pushover. With what I'm sure most of you already know, Tyrannosaurus Rex had the most devastating bite force of anything on land during its reign. And I really don't think that the body of an Ankylosaurus would stand much of a chance from a well-placed bite at the right time, to say the least.
Well, this is why T-Rex had to develop a ridiculously powerful bite force. It had to crunch through the Triceratops horns. It had to bite through an Montosaurus, bite through an Ankylosaurus thing, bite through Ankylosaurus and all that. Bite through a Montosaurus.
The right time, to say the least. It could have killed one with a very specific blow, like what we saw go down in Walking with Dinosaurs. But look, the animal just keeps getting bigger and bigger from new discoveries being made. I did a video a year ago talking about the information that it could be 70% bigger than we previously thought, and I haven't even done this yet. We've got new information that suggests it might have been even bigger than, it just keeps getting bigger. It's nuts, man. From what we can tell, there was literally nothing able to stand in its way during the Cretaceous, except for the possibility of one particular dinosaur that may have been a little too big to pick on, even for T-Rex.
Well, Ankylosaurus would win against T-Rex more times, well, unless a T-Rex just goes on an ambush and destroys the poor thing.
That may have been a little too big to pick on, even for T-Rex. This animal is actually proudly on display in the visitor center of the first Jurassic Park movie, the massive sauropod dinosaur known as Alamosaurus. That animal is seen locked in mortal combat with the T-Rex in the first film, and these bones are actually the same that the Velociraptor pounces on at the end of the movie, causing the diorama to fall apart. Now, Alamosaurus was huge. Ironically, this thing could get bigger than the Brachiosaurus in some instances. It was very...
Yep, it's definitely bigger than the Brachie.
very big, and while you would think that this would keep it safe...
Are you sure about that?
So get this, Jurassic Park may actually not be that far off from reality, even with this diorama display, because we've actually found bones with bite marks from the T-Rex in Alamosaurus remains from that time during the Cretaceous. And while I'm sure that in some instances a Rex would have scavenged a dead animal that it wandered across, we've also found bones of the animal that actually had begun to heal.
Well, it's probably because it's a weaker Alamosaurus, a juvenile one. A one that is not fully mature yet, so...
Did you hear that?
But Alamosaurus would have a cool little defense mechanism against threats with bony scoots adorning its back. Perfect.
Or it could just, crush the T-Rex under its own massive body. Seriously, though. Sauropods have sheer mass on their side. They're going to just simply crush their adversaries. As long as they have enough size, of course, they're adults.
For warding off any sort of set of big, angry jaws that may start latching onto your person. And with that...
Not to mention a T-Rex can't really reach the Alamosaurus' neck. It can only reach its leg, and then get at risk of being crushed. And there really is basically no opportunity for the T-Rex to deliver a successful ambush upon an Alamosaurus.
That whip-like tail, it would be safe as long as it stayed being big and massive and away from a T-Rex. And while
it just use its size to just destroy the Rex either way, so whatever.
it's obvious that smaller animals that weren't fully grown would have been attacked by the king of the dinosaurs any day of the week, I still think that the Alamosaurus has that armored plating of scoots for a good reason. You'll notice that a lot of animals, by the way, that lived during the time of T-Rex have some sort of special protection on the outside of their bodies, and I wouldn't be surprised if the animals evolved this
Well, not for Montosaurus, but Montosaurus has that super powerful tail.
way to try and stand a chance against a Rex while they were roaming the land. And if the theory that T-Rex hunted in packs of family groups is even remotely true, well, you can forget about it being a clear-cut victory in every...
It's still a clear-cut victory regardless, because the Alamosaurus is just too big for the Rexes.
situation for the Alamosaurus. I mean, if there's like 2 or 3 T-Rexes nipping at your legs, you rear up and maybe crush one of them skulls and get a little too close to that set of jaws. I'm telling you, man, Tyrannosaurus has been way too nerfed in movies. We've got the evidence in the fossil record. No, you're not going to convince me otherwise. Now look, next up is a set of animals that I think would have been a pretty gnarly battle to witness. This is the
What? Okay. I'm a little bit weirded out by that, but not complaining about that. Alamosaurus over here. Now
look, next up is a set of animals that I think would have been a pretty gnarly battle to witness. This is the handicap match set of this video. The first of which isn't technically a dinosaur, by the way, with the Quetzalcoatlus.
No. Okay. So far, the Ankylosaurus and Alamosaurus were good, but this, on the other hand, is just not very good. As you can see here, the Quetzalcoatlus, that cannot beat a T-Rex. It cannot beat a T-Rex, guys. It's a heavy misconception. You know, what is it going to do? Is it going to pincer through it all?
Being named after the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. Now look, being a massive winged pterosaur that would more than likely have scooped up a baby T-Rex when it wanted to, you're gonna...
Okay, by that logic though, anything can kill a baby T-Rex, and I can kill a baby T-Rex. There's just squeezing its freaking neck and then destroying it.
Imagine, yeah, that could probably happen, but you can also imagine what it must have been like when they made the unfortunate mistake of trying to take a baby T-Rex with some parents nearby, or just another T-Rex in general. Fun fact, even though this pterosaur was featured in Jurassic World Dominion, it wasn't really shown doing much with other species. Well,
at least the guy admitted that a Quetzalcoatlus is a pterosaur and not a dinosaur. That would have been just bad. But again, putting Quetzalcoatlus is questionable, especially if they're both adults.
While the canceled Jurassic World Regenesis prequel actually did have the original 1993 T-Rex fight and kill a Quetzalcoatlus that landed in its territory. So suffice it to say, don't get too close to something like T-Rex, because I really don't think it would have been much of a fight at all. Now, certain small predators are also creatures that could take down a small T-Rex, but again, I want to stress that anything getting around those jaws during the Cretaceous is toast. If a little one gets attacked, don't expect Utah Raptor to stand much of a chance if an adult wants to have lunch. Even in a pack situation.
But would a T-Rex want to hunt a Utah Raptor? Even if they didn't coexist, the T-Rex would likely not hunt Utah Raptor because it would just be a waste of energy. Utah Raptor is just too small for an adult T-Rex. For a juvenile, though, that is an even worse case because they have self-preservation instincts. And they're not going to attack something that could potentially kill the poor thing.
I don't think it's working well for them. But anyways, that brings us to the main event.
Accept what has happened there as it came back and...
You all knew this was coming, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. The Triceratops. So no joke, when it comes...
Okay. Triceratops is in, which is nice.
To defending against T-Rex, this is the guy you want to talk about. With a set of massive horns and a frill on its face, the animal comes complete with swords and a shield, and...
Essentially, yes. Okay, this is definitely a fine video. But on its own, it's not one of the worst I've ever seen. It's actually a pretty good one. The Ankylosaurus, Triceratops, and Alamosaurus definitely could have defeated a Rex. Quetzalcoatlus is definitely a questionable pick, though. Otherwise, this is fine by its own.
Yes, it would have been formidable for the Tyrannosaurus to get into any sort of combat with it. Triceratops is one of the most popular dinosaurs of all time. It's a big beast of an animal, and it lived alongside T-Rex. So that means that there probably were situations where the Triceratops would have attacked and killed a T-Rex that was trying to attack and kill it. Now, I did a video a few years ago on the discovery that was made where 2 nearly complete skeletons of these dinosaurs dinosaurs were found in Montana. And look, they had the Triceratops and the T-Rex dying like right alongside each other after a fierce battle. The small T-Rex was pretty banged up, his bones were broken, and he had some missing teeth that were found embedded in the trike's spine.
Military precedent. Oh,
Embedded in the trike's spine. Well, this is paleontology for you. T-Rex, Triceratops, they definitely encountered each other.
Sting looked like a human javelin.
Triceratops obviously would have used those horns and that frill for defense and combat, and much like what some people believe the Anky used in interspecific combat, the weapons were still good to go up against carnivores like a T-Rex. It literally...
Which is good.
Killed...
It was literally obvious, given that T-Rex and Triceratops... Oh, man. T-Rex and Triceratops literally had evidence of battling each other out.
One in this instance, but also paid the ultimate price.
Sting may have to submit right here.
That being said, this is a duel that I think most people would love to see in a Jurassic Park movie. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, and if not this...
Because Jurassic Park / Jurassic World. Okay, Jurassic Park treats them as animals. Jurassic World, on the other hand, treats those herbivores like they're defenseless meat sacks waiting to get eaten alive. Waiting to get killed for sport, I mean.
Then the most accurate battle.
Such sad treatment of herbivores. Don't just
That the animal
ingrain them in like that. It's just incredibly dumb.
would have had to engage in during the Mesozoic era, which would have been T-Rex versus another T-Rex. Because these things were not only the most massive, overpowered beasts of their time, they were cannibals. Tyrannosaurus Rex is truly the king of the dinosaurs for a reason. This thing was just a beast, man. It was a tank. There was nothing really getting around it, and I know it's been said many times in the past that it's just been extremely cliche and tropey to have this creature lose battles in the Jurassic Park sequels, but it just takes one movie, man. It's really interesting to look back at the fossil record and even an animal like Alamosaurus and compare them to the T-Rex and what kind of lifestyles they would have been in. It's just cool. Talking about the ecosystems and real world evidence of Tyrannosaurus and dinosaurs in general and comparing them with Jurassic Park is very fun to me. But anyways, guys, those are all just my own thoughts on the subject matter. What do you think? Which one of these animals had the best chance at actually killing a T-Rex? Alamosaurus has the size, Triceratops has the combat armor, and other animals could have probably stood a good chance, but
especially the whatchamacallit again, the Ankylosaurus. There really is nothing else to it.
make no mistake, they're not all winning 100% of the time. So
Yep, that's correct. Not even Triceratops, not even Anky couldn't win 100% of the time. That's semi-correct, I'd say, because the Alamosaurus would probably win 100% of the time because the Alamosaurus is just way too gigantic for a T-Rex to actually deal with such thing.
So, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below.
Okay. This is actually a good paleontology video in comparison. And I can really give them that. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next one. And go subscribe to whoever made this video. Links in the description.